Once again, welcome back to the Chris Lofthus Show at 580 KIDO. Remember Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. Remember his numbers. Give him a call today if you have a question concerning whether or not you should buy or sell your home at 350-6228, 350-6228. If you're out, you got your tablet, your iPad, how about chrisloftus.com? Contact us at clgeagle.com. That's contact us at clgeagle.com. Chris, as we continue on, now it's time for the big question, if you will, the secret list.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time. We like to touch base on it a little bit and get people to reach out to us. We created this probably about, 2-3 months ago. We created it just due to the fact that people, inventory levels were low and buyers were getting frustrated with not being able to find what they want. There's a lot of new construction out there, which is fantastic, but, there's a very distinct crowd out there that buys new construction, and there's a very distinct crowd out there that buys resale homes, and it just kind of is what it is. But we created this because when people couldn't find their house, we have a good good inventory. The people that call us direct and say, Chris, we want to sell our house, but we don't want to put it on the market. We don't want to deal with showing it. We don't want to deal with people coming through the house. We have kids, whatever their situation is, and we have this list in our office. And what we do is we try to match up potential buyers with these listings. So if someone's out there and they're, talking to whoever and they can't find, looking online, looking around whatever YouTube or the internet, and they can't find what they want, reach out to us because we have we probably have a good 10, 12 houses at any given time of people that I know that want to sell, or Jerry might know that want to sell their house, and we can you give us your parameters of what you want, and we can maybe link the two of you up.
And some of the reasons why people don't want to advertise that they're selling their home. Yeah,
and it's kind of funny. There's just different reasoning behind why people don't want to do it. A lot of it is kids, and a lot of it is the fact that they don't want to put a sign in their yard and they don't want their neighbors to know or family to know, just because people get concerned, or people leaving, or people transferring, or whatever. So there's a lot of different reasons people do it.
Well, and some of the things that we have covered today, and if people are just tuning in, if we could do a review of, the inventory levels, because sometimes people we'd like them to catch the entire hour.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is I always talk about the inventory levels because I think they're so important. And when you talk about Ada County in general, and Canyon County too, there's not a whole lot of float out there. And so if you look in general, Ada County, only 2,200 homes. And I kept saying back, we started doing this show 6 months ago, we started talking about, where I wanted to see us. I'd rather see us up around 3,000, 3,300 homes in general. When you talk about being in July, August, September. So I think this is really we're kind of getting into not really a dicey situation, but if you're thinking about selling your home, call us. We'll come out and give you an idea what you want, what you want, what we can get for your house, what we think in the ballpark of where we should list it, and then what we think will be a sold price for your house, because the fact of the inventory levels being so low and people really not being able to find what they want.
Now, Chris, you see a lot of homes. You talk to a lot of people. Is there anything in particular that you would like to share with people listening right now as far as something that really might catch their eye, or in this case, catch their ear?
Yeah, well, the big thing I tell people, especially people that are moving here, or, people who listen to this show and talk about it in general, we have a lot of people that come in and say, oh, we say, okay, well, first of all, where do you want to live? And so we kind of we'll show them around and show them where to go and kind of get an idea of where they want to live. But, we hear a lot of people that say, oh, just Boise in general. And it's just so different when you talk about Eagle, Meridian, North Boise. We just talked about Bound Crossing. There's just, from the schools to the surrounding, restaurants, areas, things to do with your family. It's just so different, and we talk about, the things that people don't know about Boise, like the Greenbelt, the river, how close McCall is, and just that type of stuff. And that's what I want to tell people when they start talking about moving here and moving somewhere else. That's the kind of research you want to do. And when that's why I always tell people to reach out to us, because we have all the information for you.
Well, and, listening to your show, people have a perception of Garden City.
Yeah.
And yet, listening to your show, there's some inside skinny that a lot of us wouldn't know about.
Yeah, we talk about Garden City. For example, we have the waterfront district down there on the river, and it's just, if you're ever down the Greenbelt, you can kind of see it's where the bridge crosses over there. We're building down in there. We sold one. We just sold one. Actually, we closed on one this week. We closed on one yesterday. So Friday we closed another one. We have 3 more pending, and I think we have 2 or 3 lots down there left. And you talk about appreciation and what's going on. The first one we sold for $220,000. The second one we sold for $240,000. Now we have one sold for $270,000, and that's a huge jump when you talk about appreciation. But what it is it's a driving force because there's very limited inventory down by the river, right? And so what ends up happening is as people start seeing that shoot up, you start watching people making changes to homes, making them nicer, whatever, and you'll start seeing that appreciation again.
Chris Lofthus with us as we continue on. Chris, we talk about the expertise. You surround yourself with a great team,
right?
Someone who can get you through the emotional process. Specifically appraising. In the old days, hey, buddy, I need this.
Right.
It's taken care of. Today, it's a little different game.
Well, it is. And I wanted to kind of discuss with the issue we had this week with the property. I won't name the property, but you're still seeing these appraisers. In my opinion, as a professional realtor, and we do this every day, and I know that my whole team feels this way too, is when you have a qualified seller willing to sell their house at a price, and you have a qualified buyer that's going to have enough money down to put down the property, that's what the houses are worth. And that's what we've gotten away from. We deal with these appraisers. This week we had one come in low. And what I don't like, and people don't like me talking about this too much, but the fact of the matter is, if you're going to have a house, for example, in Meridian, wouldn't we use a Meridian appraiser? So what's happening now with the federal government and these new guidelines because of what happened back in the day when they just appraise them for whatever, we're seeing appraisers come in from out of area. We're seeing appraisers come out from Parma to appraise an Eagle, or vice versa. Why would you send a Meridian appraiser out to Napa to appraise? Wouldn't you use somebody who's a local appraiser who appraises there? And that's what we're having a problem with because they don't understand the area and they don't understand the flow of what's going on in the real estate market.
Chris, you mentioned Canyon County, and again, I know you focus on Eagle and Meridian and all those great areas. What are you hearing, though? I mean, area decimated 2 years ago.
Yeah, and we talk about, and I don't have it in front of me, but we talk about what happened with the average sales price, and I think it's like $78,000 or something like that now.
It used to be $140,000. Now these homes like $70,000 or $80,000.
Yeah. So you're like 45% off where you were, in 2005, 2006. And it has, and I never, it's not that I badmouth Canyon County, but what's happening now out there, I think you're going to see an onslaught of investors. And what they're going to do is you're going to see it. I think we're seeing a little bit of recovery out there, and some of the subdivisions are doing okay. But, you look at some of the places, look at Hunters Point, golf course, and you don't know what's going to happen with that. Is it going to be a golf course? You don't know. So I don't, all the unknowns out in Canyon County, I think, is putting a lot of fear in people.
And of course, how do you deal with that fear? You call someone like you, and like I said, it is such a tough decision, trusting someone to sell your home or to find that dream home.
Yeah, and we talk about people, and I think really what happened when you talk about Canyon County, what really happened is the people that lived out there, now they can afford to live in Meridian. They can afford to live closer to their job. They can live closer to Boise. And so I think that really killed Canyon County in general and kind of, really kind of gave it a punch in the stomach. And it's starting to, like I said, it's starting to recover a little bit because of the inventories being chewed up closer in. So I think, overall 12 to 24 months, I think they'll be fine.
Finally, we get down to the fourth quarter, as a lot of people say it all comes down to this. How are we going to finish the year, you think?
Fourth quarter is always the best. I've been here in Boise for about 5 years out of San Diego, and every year I've had in real estate, I always talk about, I finished last 3 years in a row, top 1% of all producing realtors in Ada County. And so we do a lot of transactions. We do a lot of business. And when you look at the fourth quarter's been, some years I've done over half of our business just in the fourth quarter. June and July seem to be a little quiet. It was actually pretty good this year, but we're going to see August, September, October, and then the rollover of into that fourth quarter. So I'm really optimistic about it. I'm seeing a lot of people making shifts in their heads, and they're thinking of what's going on and truly what the value of the houses are out there. And so I think overall, it's going to kind of shore up again, and I think we're going to start seeing that appreciation. Any advice that you'd like to give people listening right now? Yeah, the advice we always give, and I always tell people, and you don't have to call. I don't just preach that you have to call the Chris Lofthus Group. We're great. We have a great team, and we're surrounded with excellent talent. our ultimate goal, I always tell Dave Tester this when we talk about it here on the show, that in general we try to plug every hole so that your transaction goes as smooth as possible. And so, from showing you houses or selling your house to getting it under contract to negotiating to Annette, our executive assistant, we have everything covered across the board. So my biggest thing I tell people when they start thinking about selling their house or thinking about buying a house, it's like, reach out to us and just send us an email, get on the website. You can contact us on the website, or just call me personally. My cell phone's 514-5003, or you can call the office number, which is on the website as well. And just reach out to us and we can give you some advice.
And remember, that is chrislofthus.com, 350-6228. Contact us at clgeagle.com. Chris, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're listening to The Chris Lofthus Show at 580 KIDO.